Hi, good morning. So this video turns out to be a little snippet of some small intentional things. I don't even know how to quantify them, or what is the word? Not quantify. Ding. Um, the little subtle design elements of a thing that maybe when you don't understand the intention, or you don't get to hear how the maker's intention, it doesn't make any sense, and it feels kind of like a silly choice, and you wonder, well, that's an odd way to orient the book. So I have this college typewriting book. I believe this is pre-World War II, and at least going by the copyright. And then also, I haven't looked at this yet, but temporally spaced pointed out, look at the digits. There's how many digits are in the phone number. So I need to do some research to see how many, when did we add a new digit, because that will give me kind of a good time frame. I like doing stuff like that. It's really fun. Anyway, so I have this typewriter book. I have been using it. It's been so much fun. It has a lot of information and a bunch of drills. And so all these drills are for you to exercise and practice different reaches and positions and keys. And of course, you're not supposed to look at the machine as you type this out. You're supposed to look at the drills that you're typing. So when I first got this, I would just open it up and put it on the table. My goal is to get through this entire drill book. But I did kind of find it funny that they oriented the whole book like this. And then I was like looking at the cover itself, and I realized, look at what's happening in this picture. Oh, it's propped up. It is designed so that you can, oops, that was a terrible example. It's designed so that you can prop it up at your desk, and you have, isn't that, that's brilliant, right? This little tiny subtle change in a thing that we normally traditionally would be oriented in a completely different manner. So that got me thinking. And now we're going into fountain pens, and these are all kind of this is a similar thought. So here I have a Twisty Eco. This is a wonderful pen. I highly recommend the Twisty Ecos. They are so consistent and stable. They're really well made. They have a huge carrying capacity. They're just a pleasure to write with. The Twisty Eco is one of the pens that I would keep in my classroom. And anytime a student wanted to borrow a fountain pen, I would gladly pass this along, knowing that this is a really solid pen. It's going to work well for them, and it's fairly indestructible. So I trusted that my little 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders would be just fine with a pen like this. So something that I realized they had been doing was posting the pen, because that is just what we tend to do with our pens, even though for their little hands, the Twisty then becomes ridiculously long. So anyways, one day a student came to me and they said, the pen is leaking everywhere, and their hands were covered in ink. They're like, I'm so sorry, I don't know what I did. I didn't mean to break it. And I realized what was happening is when they posted the pen, they would, let's see, which direction does that go? Okay. They would toy around with the cap, and if you twist the cap, look what happens. Can you see that? It's actually engaging the piston knob, and the ink is spilling out. So that is a tip for you, Twisty Eco. If you haven't noticed this already, when you post your cap, it will engage the piston knob. So that made me think, oh my goodness, perhaps this is why Pelikan has designed their pens as such. So this is a Pelikan 400. This is a modern pen. Let's see, not prepared. I have, where did Big Boy go? Oh, Big Boy's in my purse. I'm not even going to get him because it's the same design. That's my Pelikan M800. So I've always wondered, there's this little step here. And I thought that is such a strange thing. It felt like it was just completely neglected or forgotten about. This is a very beautiful, well-designed pen. It feels very streamlined and well thought out. Pelikan has been making this model essentially since the 1960s, at least, something that looks very, very, very similar. And I thought, surely after all these years, how could they just neglect that there's this strange little step there? Oh, it wasn't until the Twisty Eco thing that I realized and I think this is why. I think this was actually an intentional design. When you turn the cap, should you post your pen, it does not at all engage the piston knob. And that is so cool if this was an intentional design, which going by the rest of the Pelikan, I feel like it is. So that is kind of cool. I love just these little subtle things that you don't quite understand why. It feels like a forgotten or an afterthought or some random design thing, aesthetic. But no, it actually serves a purpose. So that brings me to the last thing I wanted to share, and that is this Waterman's Baby Safety pen. Isn't that cute? A little baby safety pen. This may possibly be the oldest pen that I have in my collection, circa 1915, which is so cool. So this is an eyedropper pen. This was designed before pens could fill themselves, essentially, and so you'd have to eyedropper it. So the cap, first of all, is designed. It's not a completely hollow cap. There's actually a little bit of hard plastic. This is an ebonite hard plastic pen. Smells wonderful, feels wonderful. And there's this little ledge, and it's like a flat ledge, so that when you put the cap on, it actually seals off the pen completely. Because as of now, the body is completely vulnerable. So this is how you fill up the pen. You just get an eyedropper and you drip the ink right into it. And then when you want to write with the pen, you actually, with this little knob here, retract the nib. I feel like I need to have a better background for you so that you can actually see what it is I'm doing. Okay, so I don't know if that's no better. I don't know why I'm having a hard time focusing on this pen this morning. Anyways, so if you notice this little knob here in the back, again, there's a lip, and it's opposite of what it is here. So the barrel kind of tapers down a little bit, and then you have the knob, which is protruding and a little more obvious. And again, I think that is intentional. Oops, hello. Spilling ink everywhere because the nib is not out. It is not sealed. There's a good example, because I wanted to show you. So when you post the pen, when you turn the cap then turns into the knob, which is amazing. And so you can use the cap itself to retract the nib. And so that brings me to this little tiny design. I don't think this was an afterthought. I don't think this was neglect. I don't think this was purely aesthetic. I think it was intended so that when you post the pen, man, I have inky hands this morning. When you post the pen and then turn the cap, it only engages this knob and does not scratch the body or rub on the body at all. That is so cool. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to bid you all farewell. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.